A health alert this morning from the First Alert Safety Desk. Eating too much ultra-processed food could put you at a greater risk of developing certain cancers. Aisha's here to explain.
Good morning, Tammy. Some examples of ultra-processed foods: chips, chocolate, candies, sweetened breakfast cereal. A new study I'm just learning about this morning has been published in the European Journal of Nutrition. Researchers found people who ate 10% more ultra-processed foods than others in the study at a 23% higher risk of head and neck cancer. They're also at higher risk of throat cancer. The original study and the data was taken back in the 90s, but this new research now includes asking people about the amount of ultra-processed foods they eat. Researchers say this is also tied to obesity, saying being overweight is a well-known risk factor for developing at least 13 types of cancer, including cancer of the esophagus. Experts say ultra-processed foods are often calorie-dense and can make you gain excess weight. Researchers say it's possible certain ingredients like preservatives and artificial sweeteners and toxins found in packaging might also play a role in the link between ultra-processed food and cancer. This is not the first study like this. Others have looked at the connection between eating ultra-processed foods and developing dementia. Speaking of which, coming up in the next half hour, a new study we're learning about this morning suggests eating more whole grains is associated with a lower risk of cognitive decline. That means it's good for your brain. Bo.